we have this week? That's 15 people, or 13. All right, so let us pay respect to the triple chain. อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภควาพุทธังภควันตังอภิวาเทมิสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังคุณตรังนามาสามิ กราบนมัสการหลวงพี่ณรงค์ชัย and all venerable นะหลวงพี่อลเลนนะหลวงพี่ปรันดลใช่ไหมปรันดลสาธุ and หลวงพี่ลีโอนะสาธุนะ and พระสิริวันโนนะพระอาจารย์สิริวันโนนมัสการครับ and venerable Kevin นะสาธุ and hi all student everyone นะ Hego Aswek
นมัสการค่ะ
สาธุเมธชีสารันปาสาระนะโย
แม่ชีสารั
ม
นพัฒน์ค่ะ
แม่ชีสารันพัฒน์เนาะ
ค่ะ
สาธุ
ค่ะ
Where are you right now
เราซื้อเรา
Are you at
ตลาด
what can you repeat again what
อ๋อมหาสะกดพอสำเภามหาอากาศสอเสือรอเรือการันค่ะ
oh I see เจริญพรโยมคิมมาสาธุ
รักการค่ะหลวงพี่
สาธุโอยังวัน so where you from O Yang one is that right is that do I pronounce your name correctly
Yeah, very close. Yeah, it is just Oyong.
O Yang
I'm always young, so Oyong, that's me.
O Yang
Right now I'm in Phnom Penh.
Phnom Penh Cambodia
Yes.
okay hello Roland hello Amen.
Hello,
how are you
I'm fine. Thank you. I'm from France.
our friends and Melissa Chang Hello. One. Okay, and Sittikan and Anchit. And Ponsan. All right, so this week is going to be a chapter 5. So we has been studying chapter 4 last week about the great renunciation. Okay, when the prince Siddhartha gave up his princely life and became a homeless monk. So this chapter is going to be, we're going to be talking about about his life after becoming a homeless. So before we go into the chapter 5, let's us make a short make a recap about the last lesson. Okay, so this is we're going to take a short recap on our previous lesson, the exercise that I gave out a couple weeks ago. We haven't brought here for our discussion. Okay, so we're going to spend a short time on this point to review what we have learned. So many of you, I have checked your answer. So very impressive, so you understand the story pretty well. So there's also many additional that I have never heard about the information that you gave in the answer before. So that's excellent. Okay. So maybe I would like to go from one by one. There's totally 10 questions on this point. It's easy. Some easy, some maybe you have to a little bit explain about the story. So number one, what was the significance of Queen Sri Mahamaya dream in the relation to the birth of the Bodhisattva? So what is your answer about this? So it's the significance of the dream. So she dreamed about a white elephant, right? So the white elephant is an kind of honor animal, so that's represent of the greats. So, and in her dream, the white elephant carries a white lotus, and then shrunk and disappear inside her womb, the queen womb. So, and the astrologer predict that she is going to have, there will be a great soul, the purest one, come to reborn with the queen. So that is a relation, it's a relation and about the birth of Bodhisattva. So according to her dream that made by the astrologer. And the second question, how did the behavior of the Bodhisattva in his mother womb differ from other fetuses? Okay. Okay. So maybe let's hear some answer from Melissa. What did you answer to this question? Hello? Melissa, are you still there?
I'm sorry, my connection isn't good. So
Oh, okay, no problem. So maybe let the other answer this question.
can you hear me?
Okay, so let's. I'm not sure.
So he
maybe-
was sitting as a half lotus pose.
Oh, that's right. So no. Even he was in his mother womb. So just meditating. And the queen, the mother could see him very clearly, right? So that is the behavior of the prince. And question number 3, what was the proclaim made by the Bodhisattva after taking 7 steps? And what does it signify? And the context of his future role. Okay. Okay. So let's hear from Luang Pi Leo. What did you answer this question?
He will be the greatest one, and he won reborn again. He's the greatest being. Yes.
So what he proclaimed, right? And that thank you very much. So he proclaimed that Ago Hamasami Lokasa, right? I'm the foremost person on earth, right? I'm the most sublime person on earth, right? And that is telling that this is going to be the last life, his last life, and he's going to be the enlightened one in the future. It's a witness that he's going to be achieving to self-enlighten. Question number 4, what are the potential? What are the potential outcome predicted for a person possess a 32 physical feature of the perfect man, according to the Brahmanism text, based on whether they choose the house order, life, or their religious life. Okay. So let's hear from Luang Pi Brandon.
He would either be a universal monarch or a Buddha.
So who have a Mahapolisa Lakhana, so all the 32 physical feature of the great man, the perfect man. There's only 2 possibility for his life. But if he should to live his life as a householder, he will become a universal monarch. But if he chooses to follow the religious life, he will become the self-enlightened. Okay. And question number 5, describe the naming process of the infant prince and the significance of the name Siddhartha, and how did the predictions of the Brahmins about the prince feature differ, particularly Brahmin Godanya prediction. Okay. So let's hear from Luang Pi Allen. Okay. Luang Pi Allen, can you share with us for this question?
Yes.
Oh,
The Brahmin Kondana predicted he's gonna be the enlightened one, the Buddha.
all right. So in the naming ceremony, right? So the King Suddhodana invited the 108 Brahmins who consider as a wise to name to give the name to the prince, and they all agreed to give the prince name Siddhartha. So what Siddhartha means? Mean which fulfillment, right? Or he who achieved his aim. That is the meaning of the Siddhartha. And among these 108, so the only 8 Brahmins that's were chosen to predict about the characteristic of the prince, and they came to, and it came out the same outcome, that he's going to be a universal monarch or become a self-enlightenment. But only the youngest Brahmin named Godanya, he firmly sure that he will choose to follow the religious life. Okay. Question number 6. What was the common occurrence for the mother of every Lord Buddha, as mentioned in the story, and what did King Suddhodana do with the infant Prince Siddhartha after Queen Sri Mahamaya passing? Okay. So let's hear from Heiko Elsewhere. What did you answer to this question? Yes, please.
Okay, what was the common occurrence for the mother of them? I think it was common that she had to pass away after she gave birth to the Buddha, because there should be no other living being in her womb. So she had to pass away, and Prince the Buddha, the aunt from the Buddha, so her sister, she would take care of him, of the prince.
Okay. So it is said that it's common, right, for the mother of the Buddha, because there's no any other great soul that could be reborn in the pure womb, like a Queen Sri Mahamaya. So when she's done her duty, she just passed away. So and later on, the prince was took care by the his the queen, the sister of Queen Sri Mahamaya, right, named Pajapati Gautami. So who is later became the prince's stepmother. Okay, thank you very much. Question number 6. So give the examples of Prince Siddhartha compassion. So during his childhood, particularly in the incident with the injured bird in the Royal Park, how did he incidents lead to a declaration by the minister? Okay. So let's hear from Kim Ma. What did you answer to this question?
นมัสการค่ะหลวงพี่
Satu.
Prince saved and nursed the injured bird and then decided to release the bird after the bird recovered, and the ministers supported his decision because they think that life belongs to the person who gives it, not the person who destroyed it.
Ah, excellent.
Thank
So that's
you.
what the situation, right? So when the Prince Siddhartha argued with the Prince Tewadatta about the bird that was shot, and the Prince Siddhartha argued that I help him, I nurse him, so that the bird is mine. But the Prince Tewadatta claimed I shot him, so the bird is mine, and the case would go to the minister. And finally, the judge, the curse, agreed that the one who helped the birds is the owner. It's not the one who trying to kill them. And number 8, what prompted Prince Siddhartha to achieve mental one-pointedness while observing the world around him? Okay, let's hear from Mechi Saranpat. So what did you answer to this question? So the question it's about at the farming ceremony. And so what lead him and to achieve the first jhana at that time?
What led him to the first jhana?
Yes.
Well, at that time he was alone under a tree, and then he meditating. His mind become one-pointed. He get very peaceful. His mind become very peaceful, and then become one-pointedness. Then his mind lift into the trance, and then he get the first jhana.
So what kind of consideration, what kind of observing, and what did he see at that moment that allowed him to promptly achieving that state of one-pointedness, state of mind? You know, do you remember? So he was alone, right? So the maid who were taking care of him just leaving alone, and he's sitting down under the trees, and what he saw at that time.
What he saw, physically or inside?
So he saw the he saw the snake, right?
A snake.
A snake, and when he look up to the sky, and he saw the birds and hunting, and he saw a small fish was eaten hunted by the big fish, and he considered why the world is plenty of cruelties and violence, So with that consideration, allow him to like have a deep concentration That's allow him to his mind and become the
Ah.
1 point. Yeah.
I see.
Mhm. So what kind of like miraculous event happening at that time? So what happening? What is that's made the king Suttotana pay homage to him at that time?
That time it was afternoon, so the sun is not. The sun moved down,
The
and the
shadow,
shadow
right?
of the tree,
The
shadow of the tree is
shadow of the
supposed
tree.
to not supposed to in the another angle, not straight up. But that
Ah.
time the shadow of the trees was under the trees, that it didn't move to another direction.
So the shadow of the tree remained the same position, right? Even though the sun already fall, right?
Yeah.
So that is another miracle thing that's made the king Suttotana amazed, and he pay homage to his own son for the second time. Okay, very nice. So number 9, what special arrangement did King Suttotana make for Prince Siddhartha when he was 16 years old, and why did the king want his son to marry?
You
Okay,
ask me
or young one. Okay, thank you, Michi. Thank you very much. Or young one, what did you answer to this question? What happened when he was 16 years old? Was an important event happening?
Okay, let me try. Okay. I think the father built three castles. Yeah, castles for Prince, for him to enjoy, and yeah, and he tried to make his son marry. Basically, his intention is the prince some focus on the worldly affairs, so he doesn't go to the religious life. The king wants him to be the great king to lead his country.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So that exactly. So that's 16. So in order to, by his father intention, right? I want to serve him more joys and pleasure. So to build a 3-season castle, right? And also arrange the marriage with the princess Yasodhara, right? So number 10, now what significant individuals and elements came into beings on the same day as Prince Siddhartha birth, as mentioned, mentioned in the story? How many? Okay. And how there are the same the thing person and thing that have born in the same day as the prince, right? So there are 7. Okay, my see. What did you answer to this question?
นมัสการหลวงพี่
Jalanpon. So could you please share with us your answer to this question?
There are 7 individuals and elements that came into the same time, the birth of the Prince Siddhartha. Let me just recall. First is the Princess Yasodhara Bimba.
Yes,
and then
that's
the Kandaka, the white horse.
Gandaka.
And then Yeah, Chana. Is it Chana? His
The
his
Mhm.
his butler. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then one of the minister.
Some steed, right? The Galutayi.
Yeah. One of the minister, and then the four treasures.
Or treasure trove.
Yeah, four treasures trove, and two more.
Okay,
Two
so
more.
what?
Yeah.
Ananda, and also
Anand.
Bodhi.
Okay, that's the totally 7, right? So Bodhi tree, there's Princess Yasodhara, Bimba, right? So Venerable Ananda, and Chana, his loyal page, Gandaka, his loyal steed, his loyal horse, and Garutayi, his curse minister, and a Bodhi tree, and last is the 4 treasure trove. So this is the thing that was born the same day as Prince. Okay, so
Luang Pi, one question.
Please.
Could you repeat what are the 4 treasure troves? What was that?
There's wheel, no? So in Thai we call jak. There's 4, So jak keo, no? Wheel, no? And jak wheel, and the Nang keo is a woman's. I'm not sure I'll try. So there's a 4, and jak keo, Nang keo is a woman, and also what's the other 2? The other 2. Anyone remember the 4 treasure trove?
อำมาตย์แก้ว
The follower, right?
อำมาตย์นะคะอำมาตย์
The steed. The steed, and what is the last one?
อำมาตย์แก้วไหมคะ ใช่อำมาตย์แก้วไหม
It's not Ahmad. It's a follower. It's like kind of a follower เป็นผู้ติดตามคล้ายๆอามาตย์เนาะ There's a more than steeds. More thanอะไรนะ minister. ไม่ใช่ steed ไม่ใช่horse steeds. And jak keo. There's totally 4. So I'm sorry, I cannot remember all of them. First is jak keo. It's a wheel. Right?
Okay.
Wheels, and there's a woman, and there's a minister. I'm not sure the last one. There's also another treasure. That they're totally 4.
พี่คะ the jacket that หลวงพี่ mentioned, is it only for universal monarch? And to Kim's understanding, the 4 treasure trove is the 4. There are 4 corners of the storage places surrounding the palace where the princess is. So that is the meaning of the troves. จากแก้ว that หลวงพี่ mentioned just now, the นางแก้ว they belong to the monarch, the universal monarch, the seven treasure. It's different from this, right? This is Sahajatha.
Yes, this is for this one of the Sahajata.
Yes.
It's all occur the same
Yes.
as the Buddha. So it's all the thing that he have in the palace. That's when he about to leave the palace and the Mara. So I mentioned to him that all of these things will be fully appear to you. Okay, I'm not sure that's clear for you for the four pleasure.
So meaning to say that the Buddha doesn't have the seven treasure of the universal monarch because it happened later when the Mara tried to entice him not to go for ordination, right? But the prince decided to go for ordination. That's why he didn't have the seven treasure of the universal monarch. The Jakel and all this doesn't happen to the Buddha, right?
So it doesn't have, even though it's was born with the same day, but he didn't he just rejects. So he doesn't own, he don't carry it and want to keep with him. So he gave up, those for a treasure, and decide to follow their religious life. All right. Okay. Okay, so let us move to the next chapter, chapter 5, the journey to enlightenment. So last week, he made a great, made or ordained himself. He cut off his top knots and becoming the homeless. So now, after a while, so after he leaving his palace, so he then travel from place to place. So practicing and trying to learn from many different teachers on his journey of seeking for the truth. So first he went into a place called Anupiya Ambawana. It's a mango grove of Anupiya. So at that place, we call it's sub-district or Mahajanabad, Mahajanabada. It's sub-district. For 7 days, he spent his time there, and he passed the Ratchakaha city, so ruled by King Bimbisara, the ruler of the Makata kingdom. So he saw that the Grace Master. So he asked about the family in which he was born, and he know that, oh, this is the prince, Siddhartha. So staying there, so he did not agree, and then he informed his aim of searching for enlightenment. King Bimbisara paid congratulation and gave a declaration after enlightenment. So he said that after achieving enlightenment, please come to teach me. So that is the first a commitment between King Bimbisara and the Buddha. And the next chapter, we're going to be seeing that when the Buddha came back to teach the Bimbisara. So that is the first time that after he ordained, and then they met. So then he continued travel searching for the teacher. So and he went to study with two great teachers. The first one named Aladada Baza or Aladada Bot, Kalamakot, Kalamakoda, and Uddaka Lama Buddha. So he went to live in the place of that's the place of ascetic. And Alala Tapasa, Kalama, and Uddaka. So at that time, they got considered as a great teacher, so very well known. So he asked to stay with them and study and the doctrine and all the knowledge that these two teachers could teach him. And still, they no longer have anything to teach him. And these two great teachers just asked him to stay with them in order to help the school and to teach the other student. But he realized that this is not the thing that he are looking for. All the knowledge that he learned from these teachers cannot lead to end the suffering. It cannot help to overcome old age, sickness, and death. So he thought that this is not the way, and he finally decided to leave these two great teachers. So at that time, there's one of the many practice among the ascetic. So it's called the austerity. So it's a practice of ascetic. So it's about to torture the body and punish the body. It's called self-mortification. So at that time, people believe that self-mortification can lead to gain the highest wisdom and allow one to be able to achieve enlightenment. So then he really want to try such a practice, and he left those teachers and tried to practice austere asceticism. So there's mentioned that the 3 different steps that he tried from easy to tougher. So first step, so he practiced by press his teeth, and press his palates with tongue so fastly that the sweat flow out of his armpits. So he was extremely suffered. So when he considered that it was not going on to the way to enlightenment, and he just changed to another way. And the second step that he did, so he tried to reduce his inhalation and exhalation that's passing his nostril and holding his mouth. And he got extremely suffered. But that also cannot help him to realize any sign of enlightenment. And again, he changed in the ways of his practice. So the third step that he did, he went, so try to practice fasting without food. It did mention that he ate only a grains of rice per day. So like reduce the foods and to and sometimes he had only fine food, and so his body become wrinkled and complexion was dark. His skin turned into dark, and his bone and appearing like a rope. And it is said that how skinny he became. Now, when he touched his own stomach, so he can touch even his backbone or his spine. So that is how skinny he became. And his eye, so look like a stone, look like a stone that's in the well. So that says how skinny he became. And the fur, the hair on his hand, so when wind passed through, it just like gone with the wind. But he can maintain, maintain his calm and efforts, even though he experiences extreme suffering, but his mind unshakable. So he continued practice to the point that if he continue practicing this way, he could eventually get. So just we call three metaphor arise in his mind. Is a kind of remind him about what he is practicing. Is the ways, is the right ways or not? So then this kind of metaphor came up to his mind. The first metaphor is like a fresh wood, wet with resin or grew, remaining in the water. So the kind of wood that's fresh and with the resin and also in the water. So the fresh wood with resin remaining in the water for a long time could not be used as a cause of fire by rubbing against it. In comparison, some Buddhist monk or a brahmanas who are indulgent in sensuality with the body and love sensual pleasure with the mind could not reach enlightenment with an effort. So it doesn't matter how much effort you put on the practice. If the mind is still indulgent with pleasure, with the sensuality, so that will never lead to end the suffering, to overcome the cause of the suffering. Comparing like the fresh wood, the wet and resin remaining in the water. It's comparing like someone who indulgent with pleasure in the world, like the monk. Monk already put himself away from physical, sensual pleasure, but ordinary people still in the indulgent with pleasure. That's why Buddha mentioned it's difficult for a lay person to practice and purify one's own mind, completely pure. So that is the metaphor that occur while he was practicing the self-mortification. And the second metaphor that's appeared to him is the fresh wood wet with resin. So the fresh wood with resin, although it was not remaining in the water, it's like the fresh wood that is not in the water but still fresh and still with the resin. Could not caught the fire by rubbing again. So like a wood in the old day, when people make fire, they use sometimes they use the fine part of the woods. It's like a cotton, and they're trying to rub very quickly, and still is heater and become the fire and spark. So that's how people made fire in the old day. Comparing this kind of it's a practice. That is it's like the wood that's still wet and resin, but even though it's already put away, already took from the water, is what compared to some Buddhist monk and brahmana, although they escape from the sensuality with body, like monk. So put themselves bodily and physically from the sensuality. They still love sensual pleasure, but the mind still indulgent with pleasure. So could not reach enlightenment with the water, with whatever effort they did. So if the mind cannot leave aside that sensual pleasure, even though physically already departs. And the third metaphor that appeared to him, and that is the dry wood placed on land far away from water. So this is the how people made us build fire in the old days. So they used the kind of hardwood and softwood. This to and they against rubbing against one another, and it still heat up and come fire. So the dry wood placed on land for far away from water would cause a fire by rubbing against. It was compared with some Buddhist monk and Brahmana who escaped sensual pleasure with the body, with the mind. Now, with the body is the mind. Kept quiet and could reach enlightenment if they made the right effort. So this is the metaphor that appear while he practicing the self-mortification. That later lead him to realize that. So, but the self-mortification is not the way that will lead him to achieve enlightenment. Only great suffering that's appearing. So, considering that, so at that time there's a Panjavakya. Now, Panjavakya had the 5 ascetics that follow him to support him with his practice when he practicing the self-mortification, torturing oneself. So these 5 ascetics is come from the disciple of the many different schools. So the first one is Kodanya. You remember this? Kodanya is the youngest Brahmin that predict about the future life of the prince. And he tried to invite the other Brahmin that joined him in the naming ceremony. But he found that those Brahmins, most of them passed away. Only their disciples and their followers. So there also the other 4. That is Wappa, Patiya, Mahanama, and Achashi, and became the 5 ascetic, 5 ascetic or Panjavakya. So when they saw that the prince, gave up his self-mortification, and they believe that he just gave up, so he's not going to achieve enlightenment, and finally they just left the prince. Yeah, then after that they just leave him alone, and they went to a place called Isipatana Nikataya Forest. Is a Varanasi district, which is the place with which we're going to talk about this place later. It is one of the very important places in the Buddhist history. Okay? So after the Panjavakya, the 5 ascetics left him. Now he has time to practice himself. So in physical training, self-mortification, he changed himself, now put an effort into mental, focus on mentality, focus on mind, and that's allowed him to be able to achieve enlightenment. So before he achieved enlightenment, there are also many important events that's happened. So he then gave up the self-mortification, and now he ate food to strengthen his body. So in order to have the energy to practice. So there was a lady named Sujata, who offered him the rice. So Sujata is a wealthy lady. So she used to she used to make a wish to we call the God tree, the tree that the Buddha was meditating. So she wished that if she had has a husband who have an eco status, and she has a his or her first baby as a son, she will come back and make an offering to the gods. So with us now, her wishes already fulfilled. And then her mate saw that there's a person who was sitting under the Bodhi tree, and that made believe that it's good, it might be the tree gods who her master worship and make a wish. So Sujata just make that the right to make an offering to the Buddha. So after the Buddha, after he ate the food, and that's offering. So the Sujata offered the food with the rice with the golden platter. And after he eats up, then he went to the river bank, bathed himself, and make a wish, and throw that golden platter in the water, and he wished that if I'm going to be the enlightened one, so may this golden platter float against the stream of the river. But if I'm not going to achieve enlightenment, so may this golden platter just flow along with the stream of the river. So after making that wish, she just throw into the river, and amazingly, that golden platter just floating against the river, and sank to the bottom of the river. So some story mentioned that under the water there was a naga. Naga is a big snake. It's the king of the snake. So sleeping, and this golden platter, sitting down, and it's overlapped the previous Buddha golden platter. So these naga awake, and just like morning, that's there's a enlightened one. It's coming up, and continue sleeping. So after made that strong wish, and he said to himself that if he did not attain enlightenment, he would not stand up. Although his muscle, his flesh, his blood will be dry, remain only his skin and tension and only bone. So he will never stand up from his seat. So at that moment, he was offered a straw, of peddler, named Shattiya, who offered him the straw feather that he used for his cushion to meditate. So the night before he achieved enlightenment, and at the time the evil, so the evil came to trying to distract his meditation, disturb his meditation, but he was jealous and afraid that he will be go out of his power. And so they try to brought the truth to fight and showing various kind of like a superpower in order to make him frightened and make the Buddha frightened. So just say to him, no. You're the prince. While you're just sitting meditating, make yourself difficult here. Go back to your palace and have a good life there. So again, just come back before you're leaving. So there's a many version. Some version mentioned that at that time, with the strong determination that the Buddha he's made, and he pointed his right hand to the earth, and suddenly there was a mother, the Mother Earth came out and spin her hairs, and there's so many. Spin her hair, and the water came out from her hair and washed all the monster, the Mara and evil, gone away. So he recorded and how much his perfection, his parami, and the Mother Earth is a witness. So with that strong determination, allow him to overcome such an evil. So some other interpretation mentioned that this is his evil thoughts that appear in his mind, trying to distract him, trying to drag him down to go back to the comfort life as a prince. So this is another interpretation at this point. So finally, he was able to, from one step to another step, when his mind cool down from the Mara distraction. So he went into peace state of mind. It's like a cloudy and stormy, and turned into more peaceful state. So at that moment, so the 30 perfection, the parami, and that he have accumulated from a countless life. So 20 Asangaya and 1 Kappa. So that's now is full. That's it's time to achieve enlightenment. So so with that parami, in his meditation practice, he attained the first watch of his practice. So he was able to attain the Pupe, it's called Pupe Niwasa Nu Satiyana. Is ability to record one's own past life. So here mentioned it is a reminiscence of past or previous birth. So recording how countless past life that he have been many different form of life, since he was born and died, born and died again and again. And that's the first watch. And the second watch, he attained the Juttu Papadayana. It's like kind of having divine eye, the ability to be able to see, understand that's how all beings rebirth and die. Some lead to suffering world, some lead to the happy world based on their karma that they did. Seeing that's a causality of being born from one life to another life. So that is happened in the middle watch and the second part of his enlightenment. So then he continued and absorbed that consideration, and finally he was able to achieve the final enlightenment. It's called Asavakaya Yana. By considering the Paticcasamuppada or dependent origination, that's how ignorance is leading to suffering. So, and that's allowed him to be able to cut the roots of all defilements, turn ignorance into wisdom, turn hatred into kindness and compassion, and become the fully awakened awakened one, or the Buddha. So from then, so we can people call him Sindan after he achieved enlightenment as a blessed one, who we call Samma Sambuddha, the self-enlightened Buddha, the blessed one, enlightenment, and he was pure of compassion, of passion. And he's called Arahata, who was far away from kilesa or defilement. And then he said he was rightly so awakened. He also called the Samma Sambuddha. So this is a two term that's often people call him as after he achieved enlightenment. Okay. All right. So this is the journey to enlightenment and how hard he tried on his path to, and still he made that strong determination and conquer that evil thoughts and Dhamara. So this is about the another important part in the Buddhist history. That's the Buddha himself. At that time, he in the 6 years, he spent 6 years. Start from he renounced himself from the princely life and went to study with the great teacher, and also practice many different form of ascetic, like torture one on body. So it mentioned that sometime when in the cold season, so practicing the self-mortification, he put himself in the ice. Sometimes his body became shaking. So when it's sunny, so he just went out and let his body got burned by sun. So which just a belief still exists in India. So if you have a chance to visit in India, this kind of practice still remain in India. People trying to practice such an ascetic, with the belief that this kind of self-mortification will lead to achieve enlightenment. But the Buddha find that monks should not follow two extreme way. First is called Kama Sukha Likanuyo. It means indulgent with pleasure. And another extreme way, that's called Attakilamatanayo. So make oneself difficult, especially punishing the body, with the belief that this kind of body punishment will lead to achieve enlightenment. So this is we're going to talk about this in detail in the first sermon of the Buddha in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So that is the overall about how he spent his 6 years of trying to practice and achieve enlightenment. So, and all right, so now it's time for discussion. And anybody have any question or anything you want to discuss? Or from this point, what do we learn from this chapter, from these parts? Any more information you can share here? All right. Anyone want to share, or maybe, or what do we learn? So what is another point that could be missing? Important point. I believe that I'm not sure I can cover all the details on this part. I think this is very important about how hard he tried, and the way that he did. So it's very interesting about some point in his practice. So I heard about from the history from the word of the Buddha. He mentioned that when he was meditating, sometimes he spent his life in the graveyards is very fun, and sometimes it's like an animal walk by and cause him to feel frightened sometimes. So when he did the extreme meditation, it is said that sometimes there were kids, trying to disturb and then play with him, by using a stick, and put it into his ear. But even just behavior of the kid couldn't really disturb his meditation, his calm, So even just a practice couldn't allow him to achieve enlightenment. So I think that is another important point. That's what he did. Only one point that's missing. That could not lead to the enlightenment. It's comparing like the three metaphors that appear to him. So if we don't practice in the right way, so our efforts could be useless. So I think this is a point that the Buddha shown us that sometimes it's not necessary to try all the way. I think it's very beneficial that he did all form of the practice, and that people who later who follow him, not to like follow or did or do what he already did. So I think that is can save a lot of time. There's people who want to try it in many different ways. Okay, no question. All right, so I think so. I'll wrap up our class today. So hopefully this chapter can help you understand more details about the life of the Buddha. So next week we'll continue for the chapter 6. So and after the Buddha he achieved enlightenment. So he spends around maybe 7 weeks to absorb his we call the supreme happiness. So that is another important section that's told in the history of the Buddha. So please read this in advance now. So all the text information that we're going to discuss is going to be in the book that John Warwood share with us. Okay. All right. So see you next time, and let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Saṅghang Namami. So wish everyone all the best. I'll share this slide to everyone in the line group. Okay. So see you next week.
Thank you.